Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Taking on Trek. Again, my name is Joe.
And I'm Dave, and I've just begun my pun far.
Ugh. Yeah, the reason I say again is because we've actually started to. Stop it. I don't want to see Vulcan masturbation. Stop it. Yeah, we've actually tried recording this episode 4 times in the last 4 days. Last night I got as far as saying hello and welcome to the show. And
And
then
then
my
it went,
computer decided to have a seizure. Brand new computer, by the way. So, yeah, the every 2 week show that has become kind of sporadic. Sorry about that, not on purpose. So, how have you been, dude?
I'm alright.
We've stopped that.
I'm having fun. My computer's been acting up, just like last night. I turned it on, to check, see if it's alright. Alright, fine. I turn it off an hour or so later. I turn it back on. I'm getting a black screen.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, last night we literally did the whole, hey, I'm Joe. He goes, I'm Dave, and everything just stopped. Stopped recording. My
I
computer just shut itself off.
didn't have anything fun to do with my time. Like, now I got to wait an extra week for the finale of Burn Notice and stuff like that.
Oh,
Shut up. I've been watching that show. It's an awesome show.
oh.
They just started auctioning off actually all the stuff from the show.
Are they auctioning off Bruce Campbell?
They're auctioning off his shirts and his all
Not
his
quite the same
wardrobe.
thing.
Huh?
Not quite the same thing.
Hell, a pair of what's her name? Fiona's glasses went for like over $800. Her sunglasses. But I want
It's.
the. If I had the money, I want the car.
I'd like. You know what? I'd love to have a recreation of Kit, but evidently I'd be made fun of for it. So.
You want to talk classic cars from movies? I will. My mom watches Pawn Stars,
Okay.
or not Pawn Stars, but Hardcore Pawn.
Hmm.
Guy brought in a working DeLorean to the pawn place. He wanted his first offer, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Not the pawn guy, the guy who was selling it put 50 grand, hoping to get 25. Cut it in half. And he didn't want to offer him no more than 7,500 for a DeLorean, a driving DeLorean, because it smelled weird on the inside.
Wow. So in other words, because you know what the cleaning costs. That's why. It still ain't gonna cost $20,000 to clean it. Hopefully he didn't sell it to him.
No, he didn't.
Good.
Put it up on eBay. You'll get a big price for that.
Yep.
We
So,
get sidetracked. We're not really talking about Trek right now, are we?
no, but we're gonna jump into a little rage-inducing news here.
I love rage-inducing news.
Well,
Does it involve Dinobots?
fuck you, fuck you.
They transform into
Did
starships.
did I mention fuck you?
Then you've got Picard
Oh
riding.
God, no! I just pictured the damned Enterprise turning into what was it? Supermaid from Spaceballs.
Suck a blow.
God damn it!
Uh,
Making the Transformer sound effect while it's happening. Mega Maid, that's what she was. But this is a story coming from IO9. It was just posted a couple of days ago. Actually, it was posted yesterday at 10:30, so we would have been right on top of it yesterday if my computer hadn't shut the bed. Um, why the Star Trek Into Darkness Blu-ray is going to rip you off? It's a short article, so I'm going to read the entire thing. Despite its mixed reviews, surely some of you were looking forward to buying the DVD and Blu-ray release of Star Trek Into Darkness. You were probably looking forward to checking out all the extras too. Well, I have news for you, and that news is Paramount is about to screw you like Kirk and Orion's slave girl sorority house. The you okay?
Yes, but Carol Marcus and her panties, that's degrading.
Sorry, I went
That's
away.
degrading to women, right?
No. Um, I guess it is.
Yeah, well, apparently
I,
everybody else thought so. But Kirk having sex with two, cat women, you know,
yeah.
it's a bestiality
Oh,
threesome.
well, you know
Nobody
what?
cares.
Kirk hiding under the bed while you have an entire conversation between an Orion slave or the Orion woman and Uhura in their bra and panties. That was fine. That wasn't gratuitous at all. Anyway,
Sorry, sidetracked.
the official Blu-ray has 7 mini featurettes. Seems kind of bare bones for such a major release, doesn't it? That's because Paramount has divvied up all the other features, including the commentary tracks with the cast and director J.J. Abrams, and several additional featurettes. They have been given exclusive to the Target release, the Best Buy release, and the iTunes download. Meaning, one, if you buy the normal version, you're getting less than half the special features created for the home video release. And two, if you want them all, you're going to have to need to purchase at least 3 separate versions.
So basically,
Uh,
it's like getting DLC for a video game, where if you want a certain one, you go to a different store.
right. And this comes directly from the author. He says personally hopes this backfires, which I do as well, especially backfiring on Paramount. Not just because it screws over the fans who are most supportive of the movie and the franchise, but because it's a terrible precedent to set for consumers. Hey, at least when Kirk is in the Orion Slave Girl sorority house, he fucks everybody equally. Now, companies have tried doing this a couple of times before. Like, I think it was one of the Transformers movies. If you go to Target, you get like an extra bonus disc or something. But it was literally a bonus disc that was worked on specifically for Target. And if you went to Best Buy, there was no other extras. If you went to Walmart, there were no other extras. They did this with Superman Returns, though. You got a specific bonus disc at Target. You got a specific bonus disc at Walmart. You got a specific bonus disc at Best Buy. Hey, guess what? Didn't help the movie sell any better on DVD. You know what people did? They kind of said to hell with the bonus disc and just went for the normal copy. Oh, I wonder why they're doing that. Because nobody's buying 3 separate versions for freaking extras.
No, there are people out there that would.
Oh, there are. But not as many as Paramount is banking on. And here's the thing. That's where the pirates go, huh? Well, you know what? We'll help you out. There you go. Now you ain't got to buy them. That'll be one of the few times where people will go out and they'll buy the DVD, but they'll just buy the DVD or the Blu-ray. To hell with the featurettes. They'll go online and get the featurettes that way. And this is one time I truly can't blame them. I don't know about you.
You know what?
I know you're not big on the extras.
Yeah, I watch the extras too, but here's the thing. I rarely buy movies anymore now. I'm almost gotten rid of most of my DVD collection, most of it, except for my own personal I will never sell.
Right.
But now if you want to rent a movie now or get it, like I have Vudu or
Oh yeah,
on my
Voodoo's
Xbox,
getting it.
they also give the extras on there.
Oh yeah, well Voodoo's getting exclusive extras as well. As is, I believe, Amazon. So you're buying more than 3 different versions. You have to rent it on. Literally, if you want this special edition, hey, you gotta get it through iTunes. Oh, but I want to see this featurette. Oh, where is it? Oh, I gotta get it. I gotta rent it through Vudu. Oh, I want to watch this one. I gotta go out to Target and buy it. I want to watch this one. I gotta go to. Really, really, is it that difficult to put them all onto the second disc?
I don't know what the big deal is. They're all going to be on YouTube anyway.
Probably, and I mean, basically, all it's going to be is the writer's sitting there watching The Wrath of Khan, going, "How can we make this crap?" But
Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad. Simon Pegg says fuck you.
I like Simon Pegg, but no, not with a 20-foot pole.
Or 20-foot torpedo.
That either, because he probably wouldn't use lube. But anyway, my point is I'm the type, I really like the extras. It's really the only reason I was about to break down and get a Blu-ray, because I was sick of watching people with Blu-rays get the extras while we're buying 2 disc editions on the DVDs and still not getting crap. It's the only reason I started getting DVDs in the first place, is because on the VHSs we weren't getting the extras. Don't get me wrong, I still have all my VHSs, and I've never replaced a VHS with a DVD unless it got damaged or destroyed. Because I still like my VHSs.
You just get another copy.
Huh?
You wouldn't replace it, you just get another copy.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, I made you a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special. You're welcome.
No.
Oh yeah.
9.
But you're also getting the despecialized Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
I want the Pendant Productions Blue Harvest.
You want the whole audio show? I could do that. With the exception of the Christmas special, it's all they.
I want the Christmas show.
That's the only one I can't get.
Why?
Because it got erased. It got
That's
erased.
your fault.
No, not my fault in any way, shape, or form. That's the fault of. Actually, it's not anybody's fault. I think they got a cease and desist. But anyway, Star Wars has nothing to do with Star Trek. I think we're pretty much done with the subject of the Blu-rays for now. I just wanted to throw that out there to let people know to pretty much not buy them. You have a story about some Star Trek novels.
Oh, right. Actually, they were published on the 27th. A new series of novels, crossover novels, called Star Trek: The Fall. The first book is called excuse me, Time and Revelation, I believe. Written by David R. George III.
No, it's Revelation and Dust.
Oh, Revelation and Dust?
Revelation and Dust.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That was the working title of, that they had.
Okay.
That they originally had. Now, the summary for this book is basically first of all, you need to have followed all the books.
Yeah, evidently they've become more and more continuity based, which is kind of sad. I miss being able to just walk into the store and say, "Hey, I want to grab a Star Trek novel or a TNG novel," and just read it on the bus. Because now I be sitting there with the book going, "What? I have no idea what the hell's going on." They've got to start taking these books, treating them kind of like a comic book. Every Trek novel is going to be somebody's first Trek novel, kind of like a comic book is somebody's first comic book. Have something in there that'll fill them in, because the way this sounds like there's nothing to fill them in on what happened.
Previously on Deep Space Nine. Oh.
No. This is not the Super Treks.
Well, all right.
Although now I just see the different Enterprises warping in to that bad sound
Here's
effect.
the quick summary for the first book. Deep Space Nine was destroyed by a rogue faction of the Typhoon Pact.
Do we know what the Typhoon Pact is? No.
I'm sorry, what?
Do we know what the Typhoon Pact is?
No, we don't, because I have not been caught up in the books. Nog and Miles O'Brien lead Starfleet Corps of Engineers in making a new station.
Which, on the cover of this book, wow.
Okay, Captain Rowe.
Yeah, the woman who, the last time we know of her being on Star Trek, she left for the Marquis.
The Maquis, not Marquis.
Right, she was on the Marquis of the building. The Marquis de Sade. Anyway. So, I don't know where... Dude, I slept 3 hours last night trying to fix my computer. Shut up.
Anyway.
When did she come back?
Yeah, when did she come back? And if she became a member of the Maquis, how did they, accept her with open arms and make her a captain?
I mean, I understand Chakotay and B'Elanna and all of them because of the whole thing that happened with Voyager. They proved themselves.
Yeah.
So if they don't go to jail and all of that, hey, that makes sense because they were ended up becoming Starfleet officers as they went.
Yeah, the field promotions.
Yes. Anyway, my apologies. I keep cutting you off.
Um,
You sound like a
let's
deranged
see.
chicken.
They're rebuilding the station. Says the dignitaries not only include not only the leaders of allies such as Klingon Chancellor Martok, Ferengi Grand Nagus Rom. Rom is the Grand Nagus.
Um, I think that happened at the end of the DS9 series.
Uh, all right.
That's still
But
funny as all hell. But then again, he was sleeping with Quark and Rom's mother. Don't forget the last Negus.
the Cardassian Chancellor, the Bajoran First Minister, but all of those of rival powers as well, such as the Romulan Predator, or Praetor. Sorry,
Praetor, the Romulan Predator.
no, that
Did
was
you
the
see a
ship, that was
Romulan
the ship on
stalking the
Nemesis.
corners? Do, 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 do.
Oh, and a Gorn Imperator too. The Gorns were in this book.
Which version of the Gorn? The Gorn from the original series, the Gorn from the video game, the Gorn from Enterprise. Which Gorn are we getting here? This one I'm thinking is kind of like Spider-Man. He's suddenly shooting webs and sailing through the station for some reason.
And apparently, in the law,
Actually,
they're
I kinda
trying to
like to see
find
that.
out what happened to Kira Nerys because we don't know. I don't know. I'm not caught up. And she was on a runabout, going through the wormhole. Wormhole collapsed. 2 years has passed since that happened, apparently. And no idea what's happened to her. Since time is sort of a wibbly wobbly, tiny wimey thingy.
It's a
That's
Geeky
it.
Weekly. Wait, that's our podcast. Never mind.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that there's going to be like a couple pages at the beginning, kind of catching readers up. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen the book, but I hope there is because, again, good way to introduce new readers into it is by saying, "Hey, a lot of the old stuff is going away right now. We're bringing in new stuff. It's a good time to jump on."
Give them a condensed comic book version when you sell the book.
Kind of give like a prologue or something that explains a lot of the stuff that's happened over the last couple of years.
God damn it, I want pictures.
Um, but
Go-
the Gorn. Oh my god.
Seriously, Gorn. They,
Well,
people are,
I,
I think the reason they're using Gorns is because they've become so popular as of late. Since
Probably.
Enterprise brought them back in their, Mirror Mirror episode,
yep.
they've been getting progressively more popular.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned the video game, and
Well, even in the new movie, they actually make a direct reference to the video game.
yeah,
You don't have to have played the game to get the reference. I
They
played
said-
the game and I laughed my ass off when I knew what he was talking about. When they're down on the planet and they're looking at the torpedo, Carol Marcus is looking at Dr. McCoy. She's like, "Are you sure you can do this?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "It's fine. I had to give a C-section to a Gorn one time." And in the game, you have Kirk and Spock climbing the side of a mountain while McCoy is screaming, "These goddamn Gorn are insane! I had to shoot one of them. Turns out it's a damn female, and she's pregnant. I have to give her a C-section. These little bastards come out and try to eat me."
that Gorn was Aaron soon.
Kirk just starts laughing as this is going on. He goes, "It's not funny." He goes, "It's kind of funny."
That Gorn was Aaron soon.
Yeah, it might have been. You never know. More like Shang Tsung.
Only true Farscape fans
But,
would get that joke.
Oh yeah. But the series is called Star Trek: The Fall. As Dave mentioned, the first book is called Revelation and Dust, which was
Now, this
which
is
was
supposed
released in
to be
August.
This is supposed to be a crossover.
Right.
And in this synopsis, I have not heard one cross. It's a crossover between TNG and DS9. I
Right.
haven't seen anything as far as TNG in this synopsis.
According to the original solicitation text for the first novel in the series, Revelation at Dusk, this series is a 5 book story arc that takes place over a 60-day period, which involves all aspects of the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine universe. The Federation is rocked to its core as the Typhoon Pact is suspected of being behind a barbarous act that shatters the fragile peace of the Alpha Quadrant. Um, that's literally all I have here, other than the titles of the book. Which, again, Revelation of Dust, which has already been released. The Crimson Shadow is book 2. That comes out in September.
Sounds like a DC hero.
A Ceremony of Losses in October. The Poisoned Chalice, which sounds like a Harry Potter title. The Poisoned Chalice, featuring the USS Titan. November, and in December is Peaceable Kingdoms, which sounds like a Game of Thrones book. So, yeah, they're running out of titles for Trek novels, evidently. Um, yeah, I might. I'm tempted to pick the first book up just to see how easy a read it is.
Well, it's up right now on Kindle and stuff like that. I know you don't have a actual pad, but you can.
Yeah, no, I'd have to go to a bookstore.
Those are dying very
Yeah.
slowly.
Those are words that I haven't said together in a long time. Book store. It's kind
I
of
was pissed when they closed the one down in the mall.
well. I thankfully have a Barnes and Nobles not too far from where I live, but it's sad that there's not a lot of them left. Although there is a bookstore across the street from Boston Market in Meriden.
Yeah, that's not really. That's like older books.
Well, he's
Yeah,
starting to get new stuff in, and he actually advertised on it that he does have science fiction
Yeah.
books.
Up on Main Street here in Wallingford, where the bank used to be, the CVS. They had a great bookstore
Yes,
there.
they
And
did.
Jimmy, me and your brother would go in there all the time. But they closed because of places like Walmart and all that.
Oh yeah, a lot of the bigger places push the little ones out of business. And if you notice, now that the little ones are going out of business, the stores that gave us all these low prices are starting to raise their prices. Meanwhile, the rest of us who liked going to the smaller stores are saying, "You don't see what's going to happen, do you?" So, but anyway, we have a couple of episodes to look at. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's our news.
Yeah, I was to say we've got a couple of episodes to look into today.
Sure.
Yes. Would you like to take Dear Doctor?
Yes.
No? Okay, I'll do it. That's fine.
I said yes.
No,
I
I
like
didn't
this
hear you.
episode. I like this episode. All right. Our first episode up today is Dear Doctor. Show opens up.
Stop
with,
trying to do Casey Kasem, by the way.
I'm not.
It sounded like it.
I'm
Dear
talk-
Doctor, how are you? I'd like to send this out to Dr. Fox.
I'd like to send this next request out to Dr. Phlox.
Scooby, is that you? Sorry. Jesus
Okay,
Christ,
can I
we went from
start
Star Trek to Casey Kasem to Scooby Doo. That's got to be some kind of record for us.
Shall we bring up Canine's nose and Tom Baker?
Sure, what the hell?
No. Can we get this on? No.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You mentioned Canine, and we're talking about Star Trek, so go ahead. I'm listening.
All right. Our show starts out this episode with Dr. Phlox taking care of his various, creatures throughout the lab. He uses a lot of actual animals in his healing, other than point and clicking a laser or a hypo spray. Feeds one, I think I'm not sure if it was his bat or not, a worm, then each one himself, then it cuts to credits. Um, then he starts composing a letter. He's been, having like a pen pal, with a doctor, in Starfleet that's been living on Denobula, his home planet. And apparently he's been having a hard time because it's mating season. And he warns her, that doctor, to stay away from the breeding areas because you might not be used to it. He's basically going through the crew, observing them, what he always does, trying new things, watching the crew. He goes to a showing of an old movie, and he sees Tucker crying in front of him. He's got something in his eye, and he comes across a crew member, Elizabeth Cutler, who has a what he can't tell is a romantic interest in him. But he can't tell yet. Then you cut to the bridge. They find a pre-warp ship, basically an old school type of rocket. They find a couple of aliens on board. Valakans, I believe it's pronounced. Is that how it's pronounced? I can't hear you. No, I'm getting no audio from you at all. Nope.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go.
What the hell was that? Yeah, I started to say I believe so.
Did you press a button?
No. Shall we?
They come across the...
No, I muted it because I sneezed when my head was turned, and I didn't want it to go online. So
They come across the Valakans, and they notice that they are very sick. They bring them to Dr. Phlox. He helps them out the best he knows how. Because they say they're searching for people with warp capabilities to help them, and they said they've come across already people that have warp. And this is the first mention of the Ferengi.
yes.
Even though technically in timeline nobody ever saw what a Ferengi looked like until Next Generation.
You never saw that episode. Okay.
What episode?
The episode of Enterprise where the Ferengi show up.
Yeah, I know. But
Okay.
they had established in the Next Generation that nobody had seen a Ferengi before. In that episode where they go down to the planet, and fight them.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a continuity error.
Bingo. There you go.
So they bring them back to their planet. On their way there, Hoshi and Phlox are having a nice little dinner or whatnot, talking back and forth in English and Denobulan. Yeah. Such a pain in the ass to say. And he brings up the fact that this crew member, is, showing signs of interest in him, but he doesn't, he's not completely sure. Hoshi tries to reassure him by telling him that they make a great couple. Alrighty, let's scroll down. Alright, they get to the home world of the Valakians, and they go to the medical facility. They ask for Phlox help. Phlox has already, been writing. I've had trouble with a couple hundred patients, and now Archer wants me to take care of this entire world. But he makes a discovery that is a genetic disease, an accelerated mutation of their genetics, basically, and he predicts that the uh, the species will be extinct in about 2 centuries.
Excuse me.
Um, there's also another humanoid species that lives uh, with these aliens called the Menk. They are a subspecies, basically, of lesser intelligent, but still capable. People keep them as basically as, I don't know if you describe
They're
it as
not.
pet, but
I almost want to say slave labor, but they're very protective of them.
well,
They have it's almost like a symbiotic relationship.
yeah.
They come in, they do a lot of the grunt work and everything, but at
Although
the
they
same
still,
time, where the other race is more technologically advanced, they make sure that they're healthy. They make sure they have all of the food and all of the comforts that they could ever want.
well, it's also said later on that the Valakians don't let them plant in the more fertile grounds. Like,
Right.
so they treat them as a lesser species.
They do, but at the same time, they do try to take care of them as well. So it's kind of a six rocks on one hand, six of another. You know what I mean?
Fox notices that the Menk don't get
And I
sick.
know I
So
just completely butchered that saying, but anyway.
Fox notices that the Menk, they don't get they're not sick. So he figures, you know what? Maybe they have a natural immunity to this. Um, so he goes down to their village. He's, and he sees them, living, pretty nice life, civil, you know, but they also discover that these, lesser or humanoids are, quite advanced socially, and they even learn some English while they're there
Yeah.
really quickly. He ends up, food, they didn't teach him that. Um, and even the one, he, you got Dr. Phlox getting blood samples and stuff like that and handing them to him, as a lab assistant. And he's putting them in family order and, color coding them. And,
Genetic order and everything, correct.
um, so you got, Phlox goes back. Yeah, and he's having a bit of a little bit of a dilemma here with the crewman that finds him somewhat attractive, Cutler. She's having a problem with the way the Menk are treated. She doesn't understand that this is the culture of this species, and you can't change that just because your culture is this way.
Oh, and you should also point out the little subplot that's going on here.
I was going to be mentioning that
Okay.
because I'm kind of reading this in order. So Phlox, says to her that he has 3 wives. And she thinks it's ex-wives. Nope, I have 3 current wives. And they have husbands, 2 of them each. Cutler, says, I don't care about that. But she always, she sees, there are some problems, with the, differences in cultures with her.
Right.
She says, you know what? I'm just looking for a friend right now. Doc gets friend zoned, and we'll see where it goes from there. Archer goes back to the planet, and without any hope, the Valakans, they ask for warp technology because they want to be able to go out to the stars, since they're and find a cure for what's killing them. And Archer has this really hard decision because this is before the Prime Directive. So
Yeah, this is kind of the very early stages of what we should be doing, what we should not do.
and he's actually contemplating giving them the schematics for their warp drive
Right.
to the point where he talks with excuse me, I forget her name.
T'Pol.
T'Pol, thank you.
You're welcome.
He talks with her about it, and he just, I'm starting to understand why you guys, held us back a little bit. He finally comes to he has an epiphany about that.
Yeah.
It took him a long time, of treating, Vulcans like dicks, To be granted, they can be sometimes,
It turns out there might have been a little bit of a reason after all. We're not that bright.
Archer's up late thinking some more about his decision, and he comes across Phlox in the galley. Phlox is having an attack of ethics. He has found a cure for what's killing the Valakians, and he doesn't want to use it because basically the what's happening is you're seeing they are actually seeing natural selection happening before their eyes. The Valakians are dying out, and the Menk are becoming the dominant species of that world.
Right.
And Archer has a real big problem with Phlox's decision not to want to, because he feels it's our job. We have to help them. It's, my feelings guide me. But when it's all said and done, he doesn't, Archer doesn't give them the warp drive. He gives them enough help to basically ease the symptoms of their disease. And it finishes off with Phlox, in his letter saying, I realize I can trust, the cat. I should have trusted him, to do the right thing. And then he, even though he feels he did the right decision, he has he's still having a hard time. So he calls up the crewman and asks her on a date, basically. And that's where the show ends. Thoughts?
I like this episode.
It reminds me of so many different MASH episodes. You've got, the Dear Dad episodes where he writes in MASH where he writes his dad. You've had an episode where Sidney Freeman wrote Sigmund Freud.
Yes.
Almost every character, with the exception of, I don't think Margaret and Frank ever wrote a letter home to their.
Well, you saw Frank writing a lot of letters to his wife.
Yeah, but there were no episodes about it. Klinger had an episode.
I think
about
she
writing.
did have one.
You're talking to the person who's memorized every episode of MASH.
I think there was one in there, but I'm
recite
not
the line.
sure. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. I thought she had one, but I very well could be wrong.
There was, one or two episodes where she had gotten a letter, one that pissed her off. Or
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
There was no episode with her writing out a letter describing what it was like from her point of view. Anyway,
Well, she was writing at some point. They just never focused an episode on it.
Now back to the show. Like I said,
Commercial break.
I did like this episode. Having said that, I have one small problem. Now, they were talking about it could take thousands of years in the episode for the Meng to become the dominant species on the planet. Yet, towards the beginning of the episode, they said
ambulance
that
came to kill off the rest of the first species.
they said that the Valakians will be dead in 200 years.
He said it could be in 2,000 years.
No,
Or
200
years rather.
So, there's a little bit of numbers error
Well,
there.
I think what he means by dominant species is right now they're on top of the food chain right now. They're going to die off. This other species is going to grow into their role as dominant species. You got to remember, it was kind of like when it was us and the Cro-Magnums. The Cro-Magnums died out. It still took a while before we were the dominant species.
Hmm.
You know?
I still think spiders are the dominant species.
Don't tell that to Carlos. He'll cry.
Can you name any
A
other
lot.
species that can attack you from land, air, sea, and water, rather?
Land sharks. Sharknado.
Oh.
Sharktopus.
They're making one with kind of like piranha cane.
What did you do?
I didn't do it.
That stopped right outside your house, too.
No, that's actually on the highway.
Oh, is it?
Uh-oh, here comes again. That's the fire department.
Now you're just setting fires?
The roof. The roof.
No, I was
The
thinking
roof
more
is
along.
on fire.
I was considering.
Okay, can we
Considering
get...
you're sitting there, I had the song Firestarter running through my head, actually.
This one you actually get to see a little bit more of Phlox. Phlox is an awesome character
Fox got a lot of development in this episode.
in this entire season.
And so did Archer. If you think about it, you see him really have to struggle.
Yeah,
With
he
this decision.
struggled with his decision,
And
and he came to accept.
at
You know,
the
the
end, he
Vulcan's
does
decision.
make the correct decision. At least in my view, he makes the correct decision.
Which
Especially
leads,
when you get that one scene where they're hailed by, what was that, 39 different ships? All
Yeah.
of them different species that all have diseases and they're all asking for help. And that's what really makes him go, oh, crap. This is not why we're out here. As he says, we're not here to play God.
yeah, I mean, everybody, he has that, want to help, and I am getting sick of all that noise.
It must have been a major accident or something.
I don't know. Wallingford loves their sirens. Give me a minute.
This is true. All right, go ahead.
Get my wrists. Yeah, well, like I said, Archer is, he finally comes to accept why, things must be held back. Because now he's experiencing what the Vulcans experience.
Right.
So, like humans getting, warp technology.
Exactly. You don't want them to have it too early. You want them to have it when it's just the right time. And if they discover it early, then you don't keep them from doing things, kind of like the Vulcans did, but you guide them and help them prepare for what's coming.
And yeah, and he even mentioned to the guy, you know what? You want to go out into space, but you might not find everybody out there so friendly. Heck, just last week I put on my phaser cannons.
Yeah, exactly. So they were supposed to be there on Tuesday, but we left on Monday.
Damn, what is going on in Wallingford?
What did you break?
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious now. I'm getting ready to take a look. Oh my god.
There's like a lot.
You said they're going to the highway?
No, sounds like they're going under the highway and towards Center Street. Anyways,
Huh.
we should actually get back to the show unless you want to edit this part out.
No, it all stays. I don't have the editing equipment yet, sadly. I've got it for audio, but not for video. So I'd be able to edit the audio out, but then it would look like this. So,
Anyway,
although then
in a
again, we could
nutshell-
have we could have Godfrey Ho come in and dub it, but
in a nutshell, I I like this episode specifically because it's Phlox. Everything about Phlox's character I love.
right,
He's very upbeat, and this isn't the only episode that we're gonna see that's a Phlox episode. As
Well- again, we see him really struggle with this decision. Just as much as Archer's got to struggle with it, so doesn't Phlox, because again, his whole thing is to help and to heal, and he's realizing that this is a case where he has to let an entire race die in order for the evolution of the next people to happen, for the correct people to come up and be where they're supposed to be.
it's not his say. He realizes it's not his say.
Exactly. It's not like he's curing a cold or helping somebody with a broken bone. This is an entire race going to the wayside. And he says he does come up with a cure. He is honest about it. But he leaves that in Archer's hands. He says, I won't do it unless you order me to. And Archer, as we said, ends up coming to the correct decision where it's like, look, this is supposed to happen. I don't like it. And he's not even really upset with Phlox, because he knows Phlox doesn't like it either. He's upset that he's been put into this position. I think he's actually more upset with himself that he put himself into this position.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a definite sit down and watch this episode. It's an excellent, excellent episode. And the whole subplot with him and the crewman is actually kind of cute.
Yeah, especially since it's like, hey, you want to be my fifth wife?
Yeah, no, doesn't go like that. But
I think Phlox is a Mormon.
his whole race would be Mormon.
What?
Oh God, his whole race would be Mormon. That would explain why he told the other doctor to stay away from the breeding areas.
Don't fuck the babies.
Oh, really, Book of Mormons. Really, we've managed to talk about Star Trek for all of 20 minutes this entire episode so far. But yeah, I guess we can both say that this is a.
It's a very good
Excuse me.
episode to watch.
This is
I'm
definitely.
going to
a
give this a
watch.
4.5.
Oh, we're not doing the star thing anymore. We stopped doing that a while ago.
I don't care. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
I'll give it the final word of pencil. I don't know.
I grade this one.
Hey, speaking of words of the day, you need to start listening to Tranquil Tirades. They're doing the Transformers series right now.
Anyway, I think it's time for a marshmallow ride. Shall we get to our next episode?
Steve, sorry. Fatty's on the ice cream truck. Fatty's on the ice cream truck. God damn it! I miss my G4. I miss my old school X-Play too. All right. On to the next episode, which would be Sleeping Dogs. I'm going to be reading the synopsis off of Memory Alpha. We've got
Don't read. Summarize.
This is the summary. I've got to summarize the summary because it's awfully long.
Summarize in your own words.
Look, right now I'm exhausted. At this point, I just kind of want to get this one done and go Betty Bye for an hour.
Take a nap then.
Shut up! Don't do that! God damn it!
That wasn't even a real yawn.
I'm gonna slap you and Paula. Yeah, well, hers wasn't either.
Like what?
In other words, she was pretending to yawn in front of me earlier. Anyway, we start off in what looks to be the cargo bay, which I guess they're doubling up as a training ground for the new hand phasers that came, or phase pistols.
No,
excuse me.
No, that's the torpedo loading bay.
Oh, is it? That's brilliant.
Yes, that's what I'm like. They're firing weapons in the torpedo
Well,
room. What the
You
hell?
know what? The torpedoes at that point are also deactivated. It's not
Yeah,
like
well,
they're.
nothing's deactivated if you shoot it with a phaser.
I don't know. I kind of would have liked to have seen somebody shoot it with a phaser and find out.
Especially
But-
with Hoshi shooting. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
Yeah, but I was about to say we've got Hoshi shooting at the wall when she's supposed to be hitting the target, which kind of reminds me of the little ball from the first Star Wars movie,
Again, Star Wars has nothing to do with Star Trek.
except for when it does. But anyway, you've got Hoshi, and he's explaining to her that she doesn't have to compensate for particle drift because it no longer exists in the phase pistol. If you know what he's talking about, excellent. I'm not worried about it. In the meantime, practice is interrupted due to the fact that Reed has a cold. I mean, the Enterprise drops out of warp. They go to survey a Class 9 gas giant. They send in a probe and find that there is a derelict ship. No idea what it is. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, they drop out of warp just to see the gas giant. Then they find the ship
Right, isn't that what I said?
after sending a probe inside.
Yeah, well, you want me to summarize the summary or no?
Da.
Okay, then. But, like I said, they find the ship sinking into the gravity well of this gas giant planet. So meanwhile, Reed goes to see Dr. Phlox, and I mean, stuffed up, can't breathe. He's like, we're able to cure all these diseases, we still can't cure the common cold. He's like, well,
He,
you know,
he ate too much pineapple. He had an allergic reaction.
yeah, there you go. That's what it was. It was the pineapple. He didn't take enough of his medication. That's what caused it. The crew poisoned him unintentionally. Well, in the meantime, he gets Reed and T'Pol and says, "Look, you guys are going to go to the planet, or you're going to go to the ship and investigate." Of all people, Hoshi goes to the captain and volunteers to be on the away team. She says, "I feel I finally got my my space legs."
Oh, it's so cute. Hoshi's growing some balls.
And well, you know what? I actually like this episode, and I like Hoshi in this episode.
It's so cute watching her act tough.
But he's, well, you know what? It's kind of good. But he says, "I'd be asking you to go anyway because T'Pol requested your presence there." So after she double checks her suit, which I thought was kind of funny, T'Pol's even questioning her on that because she's like, "Well, I'm just brushing up on the backup system." Well, if you really don't want to go, she's like, "I didn't say that. I'm just making sure that everything's working. Calm your Vulcan ass down." It's kind of what she said. And so they get on the shuttle. They go to the ship, and again, they do not don't recognize what type of a ship it is. They get on board, realize, okay, it's an oxygen atmosphere. It's okay. Reed pops his helmet, takes a breath, nods at the other two, and immediately Hoshi looks like she's going to play the home version of The Exorcist. She's like, "You don't smell that?" And he's like, "This cold? I can't smell anything." She's like, "Count your blessings." So, start walking around the ship, hearing weird noises and smelling funny smells.
Oh, she farted.
Yeah, there you go. And realize that the ship is dropping just a little bit quicker than they realized, and they only have an hour to investigate the ship. Okay. As they wander around, they soon discover that it's a Klingon ship, or a Klingon vessel.
A Raptor class.
Yes. Her name is the Samra. They find the crew unconscious. There is a debate about whether they should rescue the crew or not. Reed argues that they shouldn't let them die, but T'Pol explains that dying at their posts is exactly what they would want, and that they would kill the humans if they find them on board. team signals the Enterprise and says, T'Pol says we should probably leave. For some reason, Captain Archer says, no, you're fine. Keep looking around for the next 20 minutes. Why he thought this was a good idea, I don't know. But turns out the crew has been incapacitated due to some airborne neurotoxin.
No, airborne.
Airborne.
Is that what it says there?
Yes, it says airborne. We know that's not true. So this is, and it also says appears. Meanwhile, while this is happening, a Klingon female approaches the bridge, sees the away team, figures, oh crap, they're the reason that this is going on. So she moves away. Reed notices her and starts to follow. She surprises him, knocks him down, then gets into the shuttle pod and takes off. So now you've got the away team stuck on a ship that's falling into a gas giant, slowly being crushed like a tin can, and a Klingon woman who has no clue what is actually going on, flying the shuttle pod out of the gas giant, sending a signal to any Klingon vessel that can hear them. The Enterprise manages to stop the shuttlecraft, bring it on board. They shoot a Buka, I believe her name is Buka. There are no other syllables there. It's Buka.
What's her name? It's Buka. Okay.
I'm gonna punch you in the mouth.
Buka. Okay.
This isn't the Spanish episode of Star Trek. Buka. Okay.
Eh?
God damn it. Got me doing it now. Anyway.
Maybe it's just me because I find Klingon women attractive.
Well, look at the Duras sisters. You had one? Okay. You had the other one. No, Jesus. So that's what Hulk Hogan is going to look like in a couple more years.
Not if Chris Hemsworth plays him.
Oh.
Sorry,
Anyway.
low.
Anyway. So they shoot her in the back twice. Yes, they shoot a Klingon woman named Bukha in the back. Take that for
All
what it's
over her
worth.
back.
She wakes up. She's now in sick bay. Archer contacts the away team. Says we will try to get there. We'll see what we can do. The Enterprise goes down into the gas giant, and also begins to get crushed. Even with the polarized plating, it's not strong enough. It won't survive.
But the shuttlecraft made it down.
Well, yeah, but it was also
The
a
first
lot higher
part,
up in orbit.
Not that higher up.
It's high enough. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Fox briefs the captain on the situation. This leads to one of the funniest scenes I've seen so far in the series. You got the captain looking at the Klingon, and he starts to walk over, and Trip is like, I read that if they sense the leader's weakness, they'll kill him and take command. And he just looks at Trip, and Trip is trying not to laugh. They go through the whole thing where he's offering help, and she's of course going, "Bleh, bleh, bleh, you have made an enemy of the Klingon Empire." And he goes,
Again.
"From everything I've seen, that's not all that difficult." And of course, she's not answering questions. She's convinced that they tried to kill him. He just says basically to hell with it, walks away, and as he walks past Tucker, he just looks at me and says, "Remind me to stop trying to help people." And Trip just starts laughing at him as they walk out the medical bay. Meanwhile, you've got Sato, Reed, and T'Pol discovering the crew logs, and that's how they find out about the pathogen. Okay? They also find out what's actually wrong with the ship. They go to the engine room and find that the port fusion injector, which is malfunctioning. This is the piece that needs to be repaired. This is the piece that they could use an engineer for. They don't have one. Meantime, they've come up with an idea on how to get one of the shuttlecrafts down there. If they basically shore up the hull, which is what essentially what they're doing,
They're basically putting
putting some I beams in and making sure that the hull isn't going to fall in.
yeah, like crash bars.
Yeah, there you go, like a roll bar in a car. Yeah, exactly, or a roll cage rather. Take that, fix that up, and it'll give them some extra time, a little extra safety measure to try and get down to the ship. In the meantime, they're not going to be able to get the ship's engines up and running in time. So he convinces Buka to, will you stop it? You're like a 4-year-old.
Yes, I am.
Would you like would you like your binky? God damn it. Anyway, as they're shoring up the ship, he says he thinks he may Archer talks with Tucker and says he may have made a tactical error in talking with the Klingon woman by asking for her help. He felt she saw it as a sign of weakness, and they discuss why the Klingons are so determined to destroy humanity when they met. Anyway, it comes to the point where it's like maybe you kind of need to actually convince her instead of asking for help, showing that we didn't do anything, which they do. Phlox gives her the medicine that she needs, which of course she's like, oh yeah, sure, you're gonna miraculously cure me that way. Oh, I'll trust you and everything. Basically, he's like, stop being a friggin' moron and think about it for a minute. When was your last raid? Oh, okay, was it successful? Yeah. You ate their food and drank their wine? Yeah. Guess what you got sick off of? Their wine, you jackhole. In so many words, that's the discussion. And she's kind of like, fuck. She's like, God damn it, that makes sense. I don't like you anymore. Not that I liked you to begin with, but now I like you even less. So they get her in the shuttle pod. She doesn't try to kill him, which is a good sign. Meanwhile, on the Klingon ship, they're trying to get some water for Reed because he got extremely lightheaded. Between the cold and how hot it's been getting in there, he's dehydrated. So they walk into the galley and come across some live Targs. And the first time we have actually seen Gach on screen. Dead Gach, but Gach nonetheless. Oh, she looks like she's trying very hard to keep her lunge down at this point, which you really can't blame her. Between the smells and the skull in the pot, which
Like now I know what T'Pol feels like on our ship.
Yeah, well, she pulls the skull out, and I immediately went back to the old Jeff Foxworthy joke. It's like they're trying to cook in New Orleans. You get back in that pot right there. Yeah, that's what they do with the Targs. You got some New Orleans screaming Klingon woman. Get back in that pot right there.
Get on out of here.
But I apologize to New Orleans and
yes,
the half a person who might be listening. But I really like this scene because you see Hoshi, and she really truly is trying to keep it together. She hasn't lost it. It's not like earlier episodes where she was like, yeah, I'm a girl. But you can see that she's getting unnerved. And even to Paul at this point is kind of like, yeah, for humans this would be normal. She's not giving her shit for it like she has in the past. And she actually helps... She gives her a little bit of a technique to help calm her down, which helps her for the rest of the episode. I genuinely like that moment between the two because that's the first time where you actually see real respect between them. And no, it's not Vulcan masturbation. Knock it off. The hell is wrong with you?
Everything.
But anyway, I'm assuming they find some water. And they get back to engineering, and Reed has a new plan. He's figured out that if they can fire off a torpedo, they can ride the shockwave, not necessarily out of the gas cloud, but at least high enough up that they won't get crushed. Okay, it's worth a shot. Fires a torpedo, gives them a shockwave. Not enough. Fires one more a little bit closer. Still not enough. I think they're falling at like 500 meters or almost 1,000 meters, and it rises them 200 meters. He's like, at this point, we will never get high enough that we're going to be safe or can contact the Enterprise. So she says, look, we gotta fire more, and they've got to be closer. He's like, yeah, well, that could destroy us. She's like, look, either that'll destroy us, or we get crushed. She's either way, I really don't want to die here if I've got any kind of a chance. Anybody else got a better idea? Even T'Pol's kind of like, holy crap, she grew balls. Okay. We'll have to check the hair down there later. I don't know what's going on.
They're big and they're brash, too.
She's renaming herself Gaston. But, okay, let's do it. Fires the last remaining torpedoes, all 6 torpedoes. I think 100 meters. Meanwhile, at this point, you have Archer and Buka coming in on the shuttlecraft heading for the ship. All of a sudden, there's a shockwave. And he goes, what the hell? There's pieces of Klingon ship flying by. He's like, what's that? And then they see the Sumra, and they're now in communications range. So he's like, who's been firing at you? Nobody. We fired it ourselves. Why? Well, that shockwave, yeah, raises up enough that we can talk to you. Okay. So they get on board, drop the Klingon off. They drop off Buka. They help her with the last of the repairs and come back to the Enterprise. Just as they find out that 2 more Klingon vessels, rather, the Birds of Prey, have shown up on their sensors. They're going to be there, I think they said, 20 minutes?
Give or
Between
take.
15 20 minutes. Okay. So, of course, the Sumra hails them. Tucker's like, you think they're calling to thank us? I doubt it. Put it up on screen. You will surrender your vessel. At that point, if I were Tucker, I would have if I were Riker, okay.
Archer?
Thank you. I was going to go through every character on every Trek show before I got to him. It's like, T'Pol, Deanna, Crusher, no.
Oh, Deanna, she'd have crashed the ship.
She might have surrendered. No, that would have been Picard. He is French.
Oui, oui.
But, surrender monkey. He sits there, he's like, really? Now, personally, if I were Archer at this point, I would have just gone like this. Look, we just rescued you. Kiss my ass. We're going home. He doesn't do that. He's just like, really? Really? Okay. He's like, no, we're not surrendering the ship. Oh, we will fire on you. He's like, again, really?
I have more weapons than you.
He was
You have
right
no
now,
torpedoes
you
left.
wouldn't stand a chance against us. He was,
Yeah, he basically
you're
said-
all. He goes, you have no shields. You have several hull breaches, and he goes, and I'm pretty sure that you're out of photon torpedoes. And then the Klingon actually has the balls look at him and go, fire up the phasers. Archer just says, one shot. And you can just see the Klingon become very constipated or angry. Or both. It's Klingon. I wasn't
Maybe he's
sure.
angry because he's constipated.
Yeah, that's possible. And then he cuts off communications. And he goes, yeah, he's pulling away. He's leaving. He was good. Now let's get the hell out of here before the other 2 ships come and kick our ass. We take off and go home. That's pretty much the end of the episode. With the exception of that you have T'Pol, Hoshi, and Reed in the decon chamber.
I love their decon.
And I like the fact that they're all just sitting there relaxing in this. Fox is like, well, everything is okay, and He goes, oh, she's like, are you sure? Reed's like, yeah. He goes, I'm not completely sure. And they look at DePaul. And she's like, fine. Maybe you should run one more scan. She's, I think I have a headache. No, want to be sure, so she sits down and Reed's like, they should buy us another half hour. They're basically using it as a sauna to keep clean. Because the last line is,
do you
hey,
smell that?
yeah, exactly. She just looks at DePaul. She's like, do you smell that? She goes, I smell nothing. She goes, exactly. And that's the end of Sleeping Dogs. What were your thoughts on that?
Wish they ended the episode with them naked in that room all the time.
UPN, no nakedness.
I reiterate. uh,
So what were your thoughts?
it's an interesting filler episode. A couple of quick side notes. The guy playing the Klingon captain is also the admiral back at Starfleet.
Oh, Admiral Forrest?
He's also
excuse
one
me,
of
folks.
the
I'm sorry.
first people
Very
to play Klingon on Next Generation.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I'll have to keep an eye out for him on TNG.
In the first season, yeah. As a whole, there were some, there wasn't anything. There wasn't no real reason for Reed to have a cold.
You know what? It was just meant to be a little funny thing on the side. And plus, it gave them a couple of interesting little gags on the Klingon ship, so I didn't mind it. Like I said, he's sitting there and he's like, "Yep, it's fine." They lift off the helmets. DePaul turns greener than usual, and
now
she's like,
I have to actually go back and watch the episode, but I could have sworn I saw when Reed lifted his visor on his, he was sniffing the air through his nose.
Well, I think what he was doing, he was just taking the little bit of breath he could get. He wasn't actually smelling anything. So, I think he basically...
I like that, you got Hoshi, growing a set a little bit.
Yeah,
it's kind of cute.
I think Hoshi had a lot of a good character arc in this one.
It was a little bit overplayed.
Well,
with,
I think they're trying to make up for the whole, oh my god, she's so squeamish over everything, and they wanted to show her finally starting to come into her own, which she is. For all the jokes we make, I honestly don't have a problem with Hoshi. I've joked a lot. It's like, oh god, it's a Hoshi episode. What the hell, I genuinely don't have a problem with her.
You've got Archer being smart, when it came to the Klingons.
As well as a bit of a smart
reading
ass.
up on them and figuring out what to say and how to say it to to fuck with them, basically.
Right.
Because in the past, T'Pol had to do that for him.
Right.
Because he talks to the captain, he's like, I think you should leave with whatever honor you have left. Because we saved you.
That was the line I was thinking of. I couldn't remember it. I think you should take what honor you have left and go home. And that's when he got angry and constipated at the same time. He's just like...
Because usually...
I need to talk to great-great-grandpa Worf and find out what prune juice is.
Because usually T'Pol handled that. Last time they ran into the Klingons, T'Pol said, it was first that... Okay, T'Pol said, all right, he saved the Klingon Empire. You must show him honor. They got away with it then. The next episode, it was the episode where Trip was pregnant. They basically bribed their way out of that.
Yep.
With the technology from the aliens. Then Archer finally stepped up in this one.
Yes. And so next time it should be Trip's turn. I guess well, yeah, no, that's true. I guess it would be Reed's turn. I guess everybody gets a chance against the Klingons. We're not even halfway through the first season, so at the rate we're going, the entire crew will have dealt with the Klingons one-on-one. Yeah, other than that, there's not a whole lot to say about this episode. I think the interior of the ship looked really, really well done.
Hmm.
It was interesting to see the Targs
Yes.
and the
Leading
Gach.
up to my Raptor class, it is basically a smaller version of the full-on battle cruiser.
Right. Which is why T'Pol didn't recognize it. She'd never seen that class before. Because they bring that up. They're like, you're supposed to know what a Klingon ship looks like. She's like, look, I don't know what they all look like. I've never seen this one before. Leave me alone. Go suck face with another human or something. I don't know.
Go eat
But,
some duck.
go eat some Gach. Um, but, yeah, I really don't have much else to say about this episode. I don't know about you.
It it was fun and cute. It was mostly filler episode.
Yeah, definitely a watch episode. Um, this is actually the first time we've had two good episodes in a row. I think.
It only took us 4 tries.
Well, hey, at least we got it done. It's still not going to get posted until I get home from work tonight because as soon as we're done recording, I'm going to go take a short nap. Excuse me, my apologies. Not trying to yawn into the microphone. I apologize. Shut up. Um,
What was the name of that Klingon engineer again?
dumbass. But on that note, I will let you know what the next two episodes we're going to be looking at. And those are The Shadows of Pajem and Shuttlepod 1. Dave, would you like to let everybody know where they can get a hold of us?
Oh, we're at WobblyPod on Facebook, WobblyPod at yahoo.com, WobblyPod at gmail.com, Twitter, if anybody cares, and our YouTube page, WobblyPod, our YouTube channel. So,
Yep.
that it?
Yeah, specifically, you could go to the two playlists. You'd have our mainstay show, which is the Wibbly Wobbly Geeky Weekly podcast. And, of course, the other playlist will be this show, which is Taking on Trek. And that's going to do
We're
it.
trying to get into a rhythm, people.
We really are. Like I said,
Maybe-
this
maybe-
show would have been up today if the computer hadn't given me
Maybe
crap
if we had
last night.
more listeners.
Yeah, there you go. On that note,
I'm actually going to take our last episode and post it on my personal Facebook and have, try and people spread the word.
there you go. Put it on disc and just hand it out somewhere, maybe. I don't know. But you'd have to make a DVD, but whatever.
I don't have a computer right now.
Well, you suck. But
Not for free.
on that note, I'm Joe.
And I'm Dave. And keep those hailing frequencies open. That was bad. That was real bad.
Oh God, damn it! What?
I think I just broke your brain.
You just suck as a human being. You know that. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in
Good
a
night.
couple of weeks.
We shouldn't say goodnight when it's day out behind me.
Fine. Goodbye.
Bye.